Welcome to Catalan News. 6 members of the Catalan Parliament Bureau testified in the Spanish Supreme Court today, including the Parliament President, Carme Forcadell. They are being accused of the same charges as the 8 deposed Catalan ministers who have been in jail for a week now. That is, rebellion, sedition, and misappropriation of public funds. And the Spanish prosecutor has decided to ask for the same: prison. In the meantime, President Puigdemont, sacked by Mariano Rajoy's cabinet, is in Belgium to defend the legitimacy of his government. Here at Catalan News, we'll get you caught up on the latest with all of this. Let's start. The president of the Catalan Parliament, Carme Forcadell, has been testifying today in the Spanish Supreme Court. Her crime? Allowing a vote on independence to go ahead in the chamber as requested by a majority of members. Forcadell used to lead the ANC, one of the 2 pro-independence organizations that recently saw its leader, Jordi Sanchez, being imprisoned for the alleged crime of sedition. Many have asked that Forcadell face the same fate, including today the Spanish General Prosecutor.
It was the second Thursday in a row in which the main focus of attention of Catalan politics was not anywhere in Catalonia, but in a Madrid High Court. 6 members of the Catalan Parliament Bureau testified today over rebellion, sedition and misappropriation of funds. Leading them, the Chamber's President, Carme Forcadell. They are mainly accused of allowing a vote on the Declaration of Independence. Before the judge, she and other officials said that the vote was symbolic and had no legal effects. They also claimed that the Parliament regulations don't allow them to prohibit votes by lawmakers, but none of their arguments were enough. The prosecutor was ruthless to 4 of them, asking for prison without bail for Forcadell and also Luis Corominas, Ana Simó and Luis Guinó. The prosecutor also asked for prison with a €50,000 bail for the lower-ranked pro-independent official in the Bureau, Ramona Barrufet. Joan Josep Nuet, who isn't in favour of a Catalan state but did also allow the vote, was freed with cautionary measures. It is now for the judge to decide whether to send 4 of them to jail for having allowed lawmakers to vote.
Molt serens, molt ferms, molt convençuts, que no han fet absolutament res, que senzillament permet el debat parlamentari, tramitar iniciatives respecte al futur polític del nostre país, respecte a la necessitat que siguem un estat tal com es va fer. Això no pot ser mai un delicte de cap de les maneres.
Considero exagerat, desproporcionat l'ingrés a la presó del vicepresident i de membres del govern. El mateix pensaria de la presidenta, de que poguessin entrar, cosa que espero que no passi i sobretot desitjo que no passi, la presidenta i membres de la mesa del Parlament.
The hearing came exactly a week after 8 deposed ministers testified before Spain's National Court. Yet in that case, the judge sent all of them to prison without bail. They appealed, but the judge did not reconsider her decision today. Ministers Junqueras, Rull, Turull, Bassa, Borràs, Romeva, Forn and Mundó have now been behind bars for 7 days, and their release is nowhere on the horizon.
And while 8 Catalan deposed ministers are still in prison, President Puigdemont is in Brussels along with 4 more ministers. They're waiting for the Belgian justice to decide on their extradition. Yet, in the meantime, they are not sitting back and doing nothing. The 5 continue to denounce Spain's unprecedented measures to stop the independence process. Their last action was a letter to Catalan citizens published today in several newspapers. Our correspondent, Laura Pous, is in Brussels, where she can bring us the latest from there. Good evening, Laura. Can you tell us more about this letter?
Hello, good evening. The Catalan President and the deposed ministers have sent this letter addressed to the Catalan citizens in which they denounce the situation that they are facing. They say the Spanish judiciary is not being partial in the treatment of the Catalan government, and they also say that Catalan leaders are being persecuted because of their political ideas. From here, from Brussels, from Belgium, from the European capital, they have started to set up an administrative structure of what they say it is the legitimate government of Catalonia. There's a government here on exile. They've even set up a Twitter account from which they will publish any updates on their activity. They will stay here in Brussels for up to 2 months while their trial for possible extradition back to Spain is going on. They say that from here, from the European capital, they have more possibilities to denounce their situation and also the situation of their colleagues which are currently in prison in Madrid. In fact, today we've spoken to the Vice President of the Social Democrats here in the European Parliament, Tania, from Slovenia, and that's what she told us about the situation in Catalonia.
The hearing came exactly a week after 8 deposed ministers testified before Spain's National Court. Her crime? Allowing a vote on the Declaration of Independence. Before the judge, she and other officials said that the Parliament regulations don't allow them to prohibit votes by lawmakers, but none of their arguments were enough. The prosecutor was ruthless to 4 of them, asking for prison without bail for Forcadell and also Luis Guinó. The prosecutor also asked for prison with a €50,000 bail for the lower-ranked pro-independent official in the Bureau, Ramona Barrufet. Joan Josep Nuet, who isn't in favour of a Catalan state but did also allow the vote, was freed with cautionary measures. It is now for the judge to decide whether to send 4 of them to jail for having allowed lawmakers to vote. It's difficult to imagine in Europe of today that we have political prisoners, especially knowing that these are members of the government that doesn't exist anymore, that just tried by peaceful means to express their will. For me, Catalonia case is a European issue. It's not anymore a Spanish issue. I would like to see the release of political prisoners because I don't think that belongs to the Europe of today.
While politicians are at the center of the political storm in Catalonia, they're not the only ones on the radar of the Spanish judiciary. Spain's main satirical magazine, El Jueves, has been accused of slander for a cartoon about the October 1st referendum. The editor claims it was nothing more than a joke. El Jueves magazine has a long and healthy history of publishing satirical and humorous news, around 40 years to be exact. But some in Spain don't take humor very well. In the past, El Jueves was censored after the Spanish royal family complained about a cartoon of King Felipe and Queen Letizia having sex. And now the publication is under fire again because of another cartoon about the Spanish police that violently hit voters during the referendum day. Titled "The Continued Presence of Riot Police Uses Up Cocaine Reserves in Catalonia," the piece has been seen as an insult by Spanish police that have accused the magazine of slander. Its editor was summoned to court yesterday, but he's not worried about the allegations.
Però nosaltres estem molt tranquils perquè ens sembla que això que hem fet nosaltres no és cap mena d'injúria com se'ns acusa. Això ho tenim claríssim. Vull dir, és una broma, una cosa. No hi ha cap mena d'ànim d'injúria, tot el contrari, és una broma.
While pro-independence leaders and now even cartoonists are facing trial over the political situation in Catalonia, the Spanish president is also involved in an investigation, but this one is for a very different matter, allegedly taking illegal bonuses from his political party. It's been 8 years now since the biggest political corruption scandal broke out in Spain. The center of the plot was Francisco Correa, a businessman who allegedly bribed several People's Party officials to get contract bids from public administrations, rigged. After much suspicion, a high-ranking police officer said that, according to their investigation, part of the money that Correa used to bribe politicians turned out to be bonuses of the People's Party officials, including the Spanish current president, Mariano Rajoy. He appeared in court earlier this year, but just as a witness, and has always refused calls to step down. Stopping the country for one day as a response to the imprisonments of Catalan officials. This was the aim of the general strike held in Catalonia yesterday, the second in a month. The support of the initiative was not unanimous, but diverse, depending on the unions, civil organizations, and sectors. Yet, the strikers did manage to stop the country, or at least its major road and train infrastructures.
From the early hours of the morning, protesters occupied some of Catalonia's main roads, causing major traffic jams all across the territory. Moving around was not an easy task on Wednesday, when a general strike was called to condemn the imprisonment of pro-independence leaders. The entrances of Barcelona were blocked, and even the highways connecting the country with France and Spain were cut off for several hours. Public transport did not escape the blockage, and major train stations in Barcelona and Girona were flooded with protesters. Although no major violence was reported, police intervened to remove demonstrators, including the Catalan Mossos d'Esquadra, which are currently under control of the Spanish government. The strike was backed by pro-independence parties and organizations, but not by the main unions. Most companies and shops opened as usual.
El seguimiento de la huelga convocado para el día de hoy ha sido mínimo y residual en la práctica totalidad de los sectores, salvo en el de la enseñanza, en el que efectivamente el paro alcanza un 31,5%.
Although the economic impact might have been modest, the demonstrations were widespread and thousands gathered in front of Barcelona's cathedral in the evening. It will be a prelude to the major march expected on Saturday, also to demand the immediate release of imprisoned politicians. The organisers' prospects are high.
El que intentem és portar a Barcelona una gran part de la gent que es desplaça en ocasions solemnes com poden ser les diades nacionals.
Demonstration will start at 5 p.m. in Barcelona's Marina Avenue and will be led by relatives of imprisoned Catalan leaders. The rally could be yet another show of force by independent supporters, but with more than a month to go before the December 21st elections, it almost certainly won't be the last.
Yesterday's strike caused some trouble in the markets, and the Spanish premium risk rose slightly. Some pro-independent supporters think that threatening economic stability is the only way to draw Europe's attention to their claims. However, a report by the European Commission published today says that, so far, the impact of the political situation in Catalonia in the markets has been contained and that Spain's economy will continue to grow, with the GDP set at 3.1% this year. Yet the ongoing dispute between the Catalan and Spanish governments could pose a threat for the economy in the future, the European Commission suggests.
Notre scénario central n'incorpore pas d'impact potentiel économique majeur pour les événements en Catalogne. J'observe que jusqu'à présent, les réactions de marché à ces événements ont été très limitées. Le risque existe que des développements futurs puissent avoir un impact, encore une fois, plutôt limité sur la croissance, mais nous ne pouvons pas anticiper ça à ce stade.
Let's move on now to one of the most long-awaited festivals for shoppers every year. Igualada in central Catalonia is holding once more a mass festival in which fashion lovers, designers and clothes companies meet. Despite being delayed by a day, everyone will be able to enjoy it until this Saturday.
The REC 016 Igualada Fashion Festival opens its doors. The 17th edition of the festival hosts over 100 fashion brands, including large multinational companies and emerging designers. Twice a year and for only 4 days, former factories and tanneries are transformed into pop-up fashion stores where leading brands sell their stock and samples at one-off prices. However, this year's edition is shorter than usual. The festival opened a day later as the organizers of the event backed the general strike on November the 8th, something that could affect the final number of visitors. On average, 120,000 people usually visit the festival every year. The REC 016 Festival is an opportunity for fashion firms, and especially emerging designers, to get their products in.
Sí, és part del nostre ADN, o sigui, evidentment les grans marques multinacionals, les marques superconegudes doncs, són interessants, el públic les demana, però molt interessant per nosaltres és promocionar els dissenyadors, els que estan creant, fabricant quasi ells les peces, que a més els trobes aquí en persona.
Levi's, Adidas, Mango, Camper or Lacoste are some of the leading brands participating in the REC 016 Fashion Festival. But independent and emerging designers also have their place. The participation of Catalan brand Colmillo de Morsa in past editions, for example, has helped to get it known.
I la veritat és que ens ha ajudat molt per donar-nos a conèixer, sobretot en el públic local i per donar a conèixer la nostra botiga que estem a Barcelona. I també és una bona manera de donar sortida a tot l'estoc d'altres temporades que et va quedant.
Apart from fashion, visitors can also find more than 30 food trucks and 15 concerts on 2 stages. Bands like Shadow Sessions and Black Keys Superstar will perform, and there will also be book presentations and audiovisual projections. After 16 editions, the REC 016 Festival has become a benchmark fashion and cultural event in Catalonia. It involves the temporary transformation of the old industrial REC neighborhood in Igualada, in central Catalonia. Indeed, it's also aimed at making the REC neighborhood known and bringing it activity throughout the year.
That's all for us today. But before we go, here are some images from the trailers of the latest film releases from the acclaimed Catalan directors Isabel Coixet and Jaume Balagueró. The Bookshop, a drama set in 1959 England, and the horror story Muse are both out in cinemas today. Enjoy, and see you tomorrow.
When we read a story, we inhabit it. She, more than anything else in the world, loved the moment when you finished a book and the story keeps playing like the most vivid dream in your head.
Dear Madam, no one has plucked up courage enough to sell books in this forsaken coin of the world.
La número 1 invita.